It's weekly market report time, and it's been like over a month since I brought you the weekly market report, so it's going to be like a 6-week market report, kind of get us caught up and what's been happening and kind of where I see the market right now. If you're like me, and maybe you're not like me, I'm sure that like my Google feed just hand feeds me articles, so I get tons of articles about the state of the real estate market across the country, and those articles are filled with tons and tons of scaries. But real estate's local, and that's kind of what we're going to focus on. I think there's plenty of scaries in the market, but not quite as much as I would have thought. Anyways, what we're going to do today is break down the Baldwin County market year over year, what number of transactions closed July and in June, and then we'll kind of go into the weekly factor in that. And then we'll also do market kind of a look back into Panama City, Destin, 30A area, so we can kind of get a picture of what's happening across the Gulf Coast. Angelo Di Paola, the coastal connection with eXp Realty, and let's get down to the numbers, and I'll kind of give you some anecdotal thoughts that I see from working with buyers and sellers. So for the month of July, we are down, Baldwin County is down 21.3%. Last year in July, we closed 1,195 properties, and then this year we're down to 940 properties. This is number of transactions, not dollar amount sold. I think that's a better feel of what's actually happening in the market. Orange Beach, 149 properties sold in July 2021. In July 2022, only 98. That's a 34% decrease in the amount of transactions. So we're seeing less properties and we're seeing a lot less transactions. Who does this really affect? Honestly, real estate agents. They're going to be desperate right now because there's a lot of them making a lot less money. That's why I'm going to always preach, be careful who you take advice from, and be very careful about who you hire. Gulf Shores down 15.3. Over 176 properties last year sold in Gulf Shores. This year 149. But what's really kind of interesting is when you look into June of last year, some of these numbers change up. Baldwin County down 23.3%. Number of transactions in June versus number of transactions in June 2021. Orange Beach was only down 11%. So what was very interesting to me was down 34% in July, only 11% in June. You kind of see maybe there was a little lag. Maybe the averages are starting to catch up. In Gulf Shores, which was only down 15.3% in July, was down 36% in June. So we do see the market tailing off, and that is going to put downward pressure on pricing, and it is coming. We may not quite see it yet, but if you are a buyer, especially if you're a cash buyer, let's sit on the sidelines. That's the advice I'm giving to all my cash buyers. If you're a guy or a gal that is going to get a mortgage, mortgage rates are down. And here's the crazy thing. If you look back over every recession that we've been in since 1980, every time we go into a recession, mortgage rates go down. And the thing we got to remember about mortgage rates, we keep on seeing this interest rate hike of 0.75. Well, that's a short-term interest rate. That is not really a factor in mortgage interest rates. Mortgage interest rates are kind of a product of the 10-year Treasury yield bond. And that has actually been down a little, and that's what's been driving mortgage rates down a little. The other thing that I will say, just anecdotally, what I see with interest rates right now, is that buyers are kind of quickly coming to terms with, hey, this is the new normal. It's still a really good interest rate. Now they're just being a little bit more picky. The houses that don't sell, that need lots of work, nobody wants to take on that work, probably because inflation brings the cost of that work to do it up, and just nobody likes to deal with it. The properties that are selling are the nicer properties, the ones that need less work, and it just goes to show you, if you're in the second home or investment market, be a little bit more picky. Pick out the nicest home you can afford. those things don't lose value, and they're definitely not losing value right now, not at the same clip that everything else is. Man, Panama City, the month of July, took a shellacking, down 50% over last year. Last year in July, there's 387 transactions took place, only 191 this year. Destin fared much better. I wish we had pulled June's numbers, but we didn't. They were down 18.9%. They went from 127 transactions closed in 21 to 103 in 22. 30A also took a shellacking. I'm going to go 2020, 2021, and 2022. And this is pretty interesting because these markets in Florida Panhandle really, the Destin and 30A market. So in we're very similar in this respect. In July 2020, 302 properties closed. I mean, I'm just guessing people from Atlanta were piling in as COVID was starting to really kind of take a hit and people were working from home. And then in 2021, we dropped to 188. And then in 2022, only 102 properties in 30A closed. I think there's a little bit of tight inventory as part of the issue, but also there's less buyers. Man, that's a 45.7% change in the amount of transactions. So we're going to see more options on the market, especially as we move into the fall, I believe. And I do think we'll see downward pressure. I mean, this is my best educated guess. I'm not an economist. I'm just a guy that pays attention and talks to people that are looking to buy and sell. So, and that is the one thing that I think gives me the advantage. Everything that you read or see in the news, it's always lagging 30 to 60 days. And the reason is an economist is looking for these numbers to come out and then they're reporting on them. What they don't have the advantage of, and what somebody like me does, is that I'm constantly talking to people that are in the market. I'm constantly working with people that are buying or selling. So it gives me a really good feel for really kind of the mind space. And this is all a mental game anyways. All right, we're not going to go back, 6-7 weeks, but I'm going to go back a few weeks and I'm going to kind of give you my thoughts. So Baldwin County right now, 34 days of inventory. Orange Beach, 35 days of inventory. Gulf Shores, 30 days of inventory. Baldwin County as of July 25th, 30 days. Orange Beach, 49 days. Gulf Shores, 25 days. And this is going to be the last one I'm going to kind of share with you, and I'll go through the numbers a little deeper. And the reason is because they kind of all look the same. You'll kind of see the trend here. So new listings in Baldwin County, 326 in the past 7 days of July 18th. And then 315 of those go under contract, giving us 29 days of inventory. Orange Beach was 44 days, 44 new listings, 35 of those go pending, giving us 35 days of inventory. And Gulf Shores was 59 new listings, 47 of those go pending, and gives us 35 days of inventory. I know this has been long-winded, but that is kind of the trend we're seeing. There's a little less properties coming to market. There's also less buyers. It's keeping inventory kind of in check. It'll be very interesting to me to see how this plays out. There's still people buying properties. It is the most important thing if you're going to sell your property is pricing it properly. I feel like I've been on several listing appointments that I just didn't get the listing, and I feel like part of that is it's just you got to tell the truth of really where it's at. A really smart person told me one time, said, it's best to be the first child, the second wife, and the third real estate agent. So I'm keeping that in mind as we are in a descending market, not a free fall, but definitely a descending market. If you're serious about selling your home and you want God's honest truth about what it's at, give me a call. Out to us. I know all the information is going to be in this post. If you're a buyer and you want to really get a feel for what you're looking at and what my thoughts are on your situation, everybody's situation is different. I mean, if you had to finance, or you're getting your primary, or you're just like selling one and immediately buying into another, who cares? Like, especially in the last the last two, selling a primary, moving into a primary, all you're doing there is moving money from one bucket to the other. It is an equal trade. I think don't be scared about what people are asking for their property. It isn't like it was earlier this year or last year where like we were looking at bidding wars. Like, let's throw some numbers at people and see if they'll bite. Sometimes we can put a deal together if we have everybody rational, and sometimes we won't if one party or the other. I always tell my clients this: if somebody's irrational, we just can't put a deal together. I'm going to make sure. It's hard to get good deals, but I get you fair deals. Anyways, if there's anything we can ever do for you, reach out to us, 251-279-0099, or just reach out look at us on our website, thecoastalconnection.com, has all our contact information. Thank you for watching. I know it's been long-winded. We'll see you next week.